This is after the disaster of a date with Setsuna, but we are going to start for the Setsuna route. I can't be thinking about these things. Yeah, right. There's no way I'd be able to find anyone this late on Christmas Eve. Furthermore, the very act of seeking out someone is simply unforgivable. Considering how Setsuna must be going through what I'm going through now as well. In the end, after missing the last train at Anjuku, I took a taxi and went straight back to my apartment. Without even turning on the lights, I collapsed onto my bed. My body, having been chilled by the touch of the snow, is slowly returning to its normal temperature. But even though my body is regaining its warmth, a single part of me, the deepest part of my chest, is still ice cold. There still seems to be some creaking somewhere in there. Even so, it's still screaming out that I don't want to be alone.
Both my heart and body ached unbearably. And I spent the night alone, hugging myself.
I see. So, this is how it feels. This sucks. I guess this means I won't be able to fall asleep. As if I've caught a terrible cold. Every nerve in my body is pulsing with pain, and neither warming it up nor rubbing the pain away seems to ease my shivering body. Gritting my teeth so hard that I can hear them grinding, I grasp my trembling body with both hands, but find myself unable to close my eyes, because if I submerge myself in true darkness, it will come back to me again. The sight of Setsuna's face, drenched in tears that I saw at the very last moment, will always come back to haunt me for more than 2 weeks. From now on, I won't have to go to university, nor am I scheduled for any work at my part-time jobs. The free time that I loathe more than anything right now just so happens to strike me when I need to be rid of it the most. I wonder, how am I supposed to spend time from tomorrow onward? Should I fill this loneliness, or should I just accept it head on? I should stay by myself. I'm not alone. I'm sure Setsuna is going through a sleepless night right now as well. It's my fault, and it's Setsuna's fault. The two of us are being devoured by a vicious feeling of loneliness. We really are a good match, aren't we? Good night, Setsuna. My voice is trembling because of the pain. It's definitely not because I'm holding back my tears. Neither of these facts really change how miserable I am at the moment, but it doesn't mean a guy like me should be crying so easily. It might be an old-fashioned way of looking at it, and I might even be laughed at because of it in this day and age. But there still exist people willing to acknowledge that side of Kitahara Haruki. Once again, I wish you good night, Setsuna. It'd be nice if we could both end up getting some sleep. It'd be nice if we could end up having a pleasant dream. At the very least, in our dreams, it would be nice if we could just stay in each other's embrace until dawn comes. December 26th, Sunday. Christmas Day was nothing more than an ordinary winter day after Christmas Eve had passed. The snow had stopped piling up by the time dawn arrived, and only served to deliver the chill of winter and hinder the steps of passerbys. By noon, it had completely dissolved into blackened slush that merged into the ground. I can't deny the possibility that my own mental state is responsible for my current cynical outlook. And today's just another ordinary winter day. It's not even Christmas anymore. It's been over a day since I returned home. I'd spent a whole night engraving the period of the dark sky gradually brightening outside the window into my mind. I then came to the clear realization that nights are not eternal. Watching a day of the sky covered with clouds darkening in real time also made me remember that daylight doesn't last forever either. During one of these long nights that are characteristic of winter, I remained wide awake with the lights turned off. Throughout, like some hellish torture. I remained like that until the bright morning sun finally appeared a second time to burn daylight into my eyes. I've yet to manage to get a wink of sleep despite such a long passage of time. I had hoped fatigue and sleepiness would cloud my mind. However, they failed to expel the memories of a certain someone out of it, and only left me with a splitting headache. If I keep spending my time alone in this room like this, my mind probably won't be able to take it. In the end, however, I had neither a place to take refuge in, nor a person to provide me with the escape I need. I remained trapped in darkness, seeing no trace of an exit. The owner of this number is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Have you really gone out? Hey, Haruki, I need to talk to you about what happened once you come back, okay? Call me back as soon as you hear this. I've already called you both here and on your cell phone, so don't you dare ignore me, you hear? Later.
The call on my cell just a while ago was from Takia as well. This makes it the 9th time in 2 days that I've been running away, pretending to be unavailable. At first, when I didn't answer the phone, he sounded as if he was teasing me. His teasing probably stemmed from a naive, hopeful belief that I was still with Setsuna. However, since yesterday night, after a call from Io, I realized that things had taken a turn for the worse. Although her tone sounded strangely desperate, what she spoke about was not far from what I predicted she would. She had met with Setsuna. She said that Setsuna told her nothing had happened, that Setsuna only kept smiling and didn't cry, and that she knew all of it was a lie. She definitely noticed the subtle changes. She's been friends with her for so long. Her forced cheerfulness, slight trace of emptiness, her inability to hide the pain. Various negative feelings are slowly eating away at Setsuna right now. After that, Io and Takia kept calling me several times per hour until morning came. They're not just doing this because they feel responsible. I can feel their genuine worry for the two of us through their frantic tones. And yet, I've only continued to ignore them as if it was their own business that they were so panicked. Because I don't know how I should answer them. It's because we're so close that I don't know what to say to them. Because I know how they'll react. Because I know their reaction will definitely hurt me. Though, it's also because it would put me at ease to some extent. They'll likely punish me. They'll furiously lament and reprimand me, and desperately interfere in hopes of finding a solution somehow. And I would likely accept their punishments and stop my own thoughts in response to their intervention. That would only serve my own self-satisfaction, though. There's nothing worse than pretending an issue is already solved when it isn't. Even if I can take on the pain directly, it would be pointless if I can't move on. After all, even if I do get my moment of comfort, it would not solve anything for Setsuna. It wouldn't save her. A result such as this, my own salvation alone, would accomplish nothing. That's why I ultimately can't do anything in the end. All I can do now is observe the sky above in real time, as it's wrapped by the gentle sunlight and dyed a warm red before turning black. And entertain myself with the question of whether or not I will be able to move forward, even if just a little, when the next dawn arrives. A question I keep asking myself over and over again. December 28th, Tuesday. Unable to determine how far the source of the sound is from me. I blindly stretch out my hand in the faint darkness. When I finally sense the rhythmic vibrations of a solid object in my fingers, I know that I've found what I'm looking for.
Kirahara, it's me, Kazuoka.
After already having picked up the phone, I realized it's been days since I last had a conversation with someone.
Huh? Are you awake? I thought it'd be alright since it's the afternoon already.
My mind can't keep up with the first conversation I've had in quite a long time. Moreover, the fact that I just woke up also means my reactions are still dull. And having realized that I've just woken up, I reply with odd, redundant responses.
I'm sorry. Seems like you really were asleep, huh?
No, that's no problem. I was just taking a nap, that's all. I was actually asleep. Finally asleep.
That means you're at home now, right? Are you okay? Can we talk for a bit?
What's the date and time right now?
Kitahara, just how long have you been sleeping? 1:30 p.m. on the 28th.
I see. As I open the curtains, having been untouched for more than 24 hours, even the radiance of the gentle winter sunlight manages to dazzle my eyes. If my memory serves me right, the clock pointed at the 12 last time I checked it, meaning that I've been sleeping for about an hour.
You don't seem okay to me. Should I leave this for tomorrow?
No, I'm alright, really. What's the matter? The truth is, my mind and my body haven't rested at all. My head is still as hazy as ever. I still feel quite groggy. Such a half-hearted excuse of an attempt to sleep actually ended up exhausting me even more. Nevertheless, the fact that I've successfully fallen asleep holds great meaning in itself. It gave me a chance to talk to someone above all things. I have my unconsciousness to thank for facilitating contact with another person after I denied it for so long.
No, it's nothing important, but it's just that you haven't been coming to work recently. So, are you feeling okay?
I'm fine.
Your voice says otherwise.
I just woke up, so... The fact that I was quick to tell a lie in my first instance of communication in a while is somewhat awkward, though.
Well, never mind that. So, when will you be coming back?
That's,
Even if you finish your work for the end of the year, that doesn't mean you've got time to rest. Everyone needs your help. Could you come over and help out if you find the time?
Thank you very much. Way I am now, her previous sentence didn't come across as an annoyance or her just being nosy about it all. Having someone unexpectedly tell me that I'm needed by the very outside world that I've isolated myself from is enough to elate me right now.
But I won't be able to come this year anymore. I've got interviews scheduled in America from today onward. I'm at Narita Airport right now.
Even though it's the end of the year?
I'm going around places like New York and LA, and after I'm done with work, I'll take a vacation with my friend there. I'll come back around the 5th of January.
I see. Thank you for your hard work. I see. She called me to tell me that. Even though I'm just a part-time subordinate, she really is commendable as always.
Oh, that friend I mentioned isn't a man, okay? I'm pretty sure you met her before, right, Kitahara? You know Amamiya Sawako. Just an annual trip with 2 women together, not involving any men, and...
Is that so?
No, it's pointless telling that to you, Kitahara. Sorry, just forget about what I just said.
Huh? I understand. Please say hello to Sawako-san for me. I hope you have a great trip.
There's really no need to say anything to her.
Mari-san's weird changes in her attitude really perplex me sometimes, and I still can't understand her completely to this day.
But let's cut to the chase. I've sent something over to your place, Kitahara. I just received it yesterday, so I didn't have time to give it to you in person.
To me? What is it?
It's a ticket for Tomoyoko's New Year's concert.
Eh?
From what I understand, it came from Tomoyoko's office, mailed directly to Ensemble's editing department. She asked for it to be delivered to the person who wrote that article.
The moment I finally manage to keep up with the conversation, a name appears that makes my head go completely blank once again.
That's pretty amazing, Kitahara. It's not every day you can get a great response from your interviewee with your first article, you know?
No, that's because this person was special.
It's a rare opportunity. So, why don't you try getting backstage? If you tell them you're from Ensemble, they'll let you in for sure. If you tell them you're from Ensemble, they'll let you in for sure. It's important to have connections in our field of work. It's not like you have anything to lose by meeting them, right?
Mari-san, who's lightheartedly telling me all this while being unaware of the whole story, is making it incredibly difficult for me to say anything. If I were to meet with Tomoyoko, she'd probably be shocked yet again, wouldn't she? By the fact that the author of that article was her daughter's, well, nah. What would really be surprising is that if she still remembers me. We've only met once, and 3 years ago at that. Mari-san, I'm thankful you told me this, but
Just maybe you might see Toma Kazusa there too, you know? The truth is, you want to see her, don't you?
being unaware of the whole story, huh? I can only say that I've underestimated Mari-san. How did you...
Ever since that article was published, you haven't shown up at all. So I was guessing that you might have remembered something you didn't want to, and ended up feeling depressed.
No. She couldn't possibly know the truth about everything. I don't recall telling her that much.
You had managed to laugh it off now, I would be feeling relieved. But
I'm sorry. So it's simply Mari-san being perceptive then. And at the same time, it's undeniable proof that she's been worried about me.
you're pretty naive, aren't you, Kirahara? You're quite fragile, and you always seem to only put the blame on yourself.
Do I really?
You do. And whenever you're facing some hard times, you try to find an escape in working or studying. I figured that out quite early.
She's really been watching over me closely, hasn't she? Even so, just because I'm hurt right now doesn't mean that I'm the victim. Because considering how deeply I've wounded someone else, the scratch I received is laughably light in comparison. Even so, while I'm glad that she's favoring her subordinates like this, I can't help but think that it doesn't feel right. I feel that I'm undeserving of having you comfort me like this, Mari-san.
Is that why you got so depressed? Because there was no one to reprimand you for it? Because there was nobody you could ask for forgiveness from?
What Mari-san just pointed out is pretty much the same thing I've been thinking about until yesterday.
In that case, I won't blame you. And so, I won't forgive you either. All you need to do is talk, Kirahara, and all I will do is listen. Maybe you won't find the forgiveness you seek from others right now, but perhaps I'll put you at peace, even if only just a little.
It's just being the only one who gets that peace wouldn't mean anything.
If you can't even find peace of mind for yourself, how will you ever be able to find it in yourself to make it up to that other person? Well, I don't mind if you don't want to talk about it. This is a private matter of yours, and I'm just your superior at a part-time job after all.
Would you hear me out? Mari-san?
I'll hear you out, and I won't give you any advice.
Thank you very much.
So,
I've always been in love with Toma Kazusa. Even now,
is that so?
I still can't forget about her.
Well, it did feel that way.
And someone else ended up getting hurt by me because of that.
Surprisingly, I managed to tell her everything. I told her about the very first person I invited into our group, who happened to be none other than Miss Hojo Haya herself. I told her how I quickly grew close with that girl who was unbelievably sociable despite her popularity and fame, and how on that night after the school festival ended, it was that girl who I accepted and who accepted me in return, rather than Kazusa. it wasn't Kazusa and I who were considered officially together by everyone around us at the time. It was me and the other girl instead. And yet, I betrayed that girl for Kazusa. And then there was the period that lasted until today, where the both of us continued to hold on to all of our past regrets and never ceased to shackle the other. And then there was Christmas Eve. The day I betrayed her because of Kazusa yet again. The day the both of us realized once more that we're still strangling each other. Mari-san ended up listening quietly, just as she promised she would. She'd asked for some slight clarification at time where there was a jump in my story timeline, but she truly listened to me otherwise. That's why I've told her everything, leaving nothing unsaid, and even the most important part. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Why are you apologizing? I only said I would listen, right?
Even so, I've said too much. It's not like we're out drinking together. Not to mention, we're not even seeing each other face to face.
Don't you think it's precisely because we're not seeing each other face to face that you're able to say all that? We weren't able to see each other's reactions after all.
Is that really the case?
Besides, it's also because we won't be seeing each other for a while, right? By the time we see each other again, we'll probably both have forgotten about it.
Perhaps you're right. I'm sure that the both of us will still remember our conversation today the next time we meet. Even so, it'll be easier for us to pretend that we've forgotten all about it after some time passes. She's likely chosen to hear me out through the phone because she's gone as far as to consider all that. Or perhaps I'm overthinking it.
Even so, you're still young, Kitahara. I'm relieved to hear such a youthful story from you for once.
Do I really come across as being that old most of the time?
Well, I don't mean anything bad by all that. Perhaps it's better to say you're a bit too composed, too argumentative, and too conscious of things sometimes.
Are you really sure you don't mean anything bad by everything you just said?
Listen, just like I promised earlier, I won't blame you, nor will I forgive you.
All right.
That's why I was also thinking about what I would have done if I were in your shoes and explained all that, Kitahara.
If it were you, Mari-san, what would you have done?
To be honest, I don't know either. The decisions you've made, whether it's right or wrong, I can't say for sure either.
Is that so?
I can't say that sounds terrible, nor can I say I know how you feel.
Mari-san.
That's why I can't say it's your fault either. No, I promise not to mention that to begin with.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It seems I really can't be of much help. Something like this is...
Thank you very much. You've done more than enough for me.
How so? I didn't really do anything to help, did I?
I've always thought that maybe I was the only one at fault. That maybe I was the only one who didn't understand anything.
But...
But now you've convinced me that it might not be the case. It appears that I'm the only one who's being saved after all, even if just a little. But that just won't do.
Kitahara?
With that, we're around the C part of PDCA, aren't we?
PDCA, huh?
All that's left is for you to rely on your own strength to move towards step A. You can do it, right, Hirahara?
Plan, do, check, act. A cycle that, while originally intended for the management of manufacturing industries, is now applicable in pretty much any job in our modern day. A cycle she'd beat into my head during our first week of work.
Well then, it's about time for me to go. When I return to Japan, I'll have a ton of work for you to do.
I've a feeling that half of what she just said was an attempt to try to hide her embarrassment. Though, I know there's truth in the other half nevertheless. To change myself for the better. To work hard for that change.
Well, it's time for me to go.
Thanks, Mari-san.
Thank you very much, right?
And that was definitely her trying to hide her embarrassment. Thank you very much. Even so, even if I did manage to read her like a book, I don't see myself being able to do anything other than following what she said.
Well then. Geez, I've been left behind. I wonder if there's any other planes still flying to New York today.
December 29th, Wednesday. After finally getting some more sleep, my now completely reversed sleep schedule is getting more and more out of hand. Yes, alright, I'm coming. Just hold on a second. I steal a glance at my clock as I drop out of bed to see it's 8 o'clock. Judging by the color of the sky, it's 8 p.m. It's a time when it's natural for anyone to assume I'm awake. As such, it appears I can't be mad about this unannounced visit. Then again, I can only think of a handful of people who would ring my doorbell, salesmen and swindlers aside. Is it Takia?
Ja?
Huh?
Ja?
She's not among that handful of people. After all, her paper is finished, the seminars have ended, and the year-end party is over, and the year itself is also coming to an end. I can't believe that she, the queen of playing hooky even on weekdays, of all people, would be loitering around near our university. And on a day that would otherwise be a perfect holiday for her, no less.
Yay! You got stubble. Let me rub my face on it.
Wait, Izumi, what are you doing here? Well, having her hug me so suddenly and rubbing her face against mine is actually kind of scary in a way, though.
It's pretty rude of you to ask what I'm doing here. Don't you know how much courage a girl needs to muster up to come over?
What are you trying to say?
Let's just say I'm couch surfing, and I've just about used up all my excuses to stay at other friends' places.
So you still haven't gone home? It appears that the rift between the mother and daughter of the Izumi family is still heading in a grave direction to this day. I hope she's aware that it's hard for anybody to give a proper response to that kind of excuse before she uses it.
The girl who let me stay until yesterday has to go back to her hometown. It's pretty harsh living in that lab that doesn't have heating, you know?
Go ask someone else.
That's easier said than done. The only people I have left are the ones from our seminar.
Then go ask one of them.
Even though they're the same gender as you are, Haruki?
Ugh.
Well, I guess that's that then. let me borrow your phone for a second. Something terrible happened to my phone's battery, so I can't really get in touch with anyone.
No, you,
What?
well,
Huh?
go buy a charger. Wait, the guys from our seminar barely even know you.
Sure, but they'll probably let me stay over anyway. Wanna bet?
Don't do something so dangerous.
Sorry for intruding.
The only thing she's far better at than me is negotiating. The hot water wakes both my body and mind up simultaneously. As I rub my body with soap and sponge to the point of where it hurts, my sense of touch returns to my skin as well. After letting a woman into my house, I hopped into the shower immediately. It may be giving off the impression that I want to engage in a certain activity with her, but I really have no such intentions. It's just that I need to do something about both the existing problem that Izumi pointed out earlier and also why it happened. In other words, I'm just freshening myself up in the bathroom for a bit. I really didn't conduct myself very well, even if only in front of Izumi. Then again, I can't believe she still nonchalantly hugged me despite how stinky and dirty I was. For the record, I wouldn't say I've fallen prey to her sly tricks, nor would I say I've surrendered to her attempt at seducing me either. It's just that, as far as Izumi is concerned, I know that even if I try to complain, she'll just shrug me off with, well, whatever, and just do whatever she wants it to do anyway. Since that day, I've been forced to communicate for the second time now, and on 2 consecutive days at that. And it's not just communication through voice this time, it's face-to-face interaction. I neither hoped for nor approved this, but my life's gradually getting back on track.
Nom. Having pizza once in a while is great. I still think your home cooking would have been more ideal for me though, Haruki.
Eat the salad too. Make sure your diet's balanced.
You're eating more than I expected, Haruki. Even though you've done nothing but sleep recently.
My energy has just about run out too, so it's time for me to refill it. It's been 4 days, and even though this food is too heavy for my stomach to handle, it just goes straight down my throat. To be honest, my tongue hasn't recovered to the point where it can determine whether something tastes good or not. Even so, my stomach, which had started to whine in the middle of it all, is now brazenly accepting chunks of cheese and dough.
Come on, yeah.
Don't put so much Tabasco on. You're spilling it on my portion too. I finally managed to get some sleep yesterday, and I've bathed myself and shaved my beard today. And I can finally eat now as well. Perhaps it's better to say that my appetite has returned. I told you not to swallow it whole. Need some tea?
Beer.
Fine. It's likely because there's a certain someone who has a knack for really enjoying her food right in front of me that I'm capable of eating normally like this, though.
Yeah, that's the stuff.
Who in the world would finish an entire can of beer just to flush food down? Did your objective change while you were drinking? I'm reluctant to admit it, but it's the truth.
I'll let you have the last slice of pizza, Haruki.
Really? Thanks then.
But in exchange, since you ate more than half of the food, I think we should split the bill 70-30, or at least 60-40.
What kind of fussy calculation is this, Izumi?
You know, it's just that I've been slipping over at other people's for quite some time now, so I've made it kind of a habit.
It's fine. I'll pay for the pizza.
For real? Regardless how much I eat? You'll pay for everything, Haruki?
Don't forget, I've already paid for the beer as well.
Yay! You're so generous, Haruki. I love ya. In that case, I might as well help myself to the last.
That's for the sponsor. It's the sole condition for him to provide his support.
What kind of fussy proclamation of your privilege is this, Haruki?
Now it's Izumi who's bringing me back to the real world again. Come to think of it, have you done anything fun this winter break? I've been at home the entire time. Given it's been a while since I last ate anything, it's natural that it's been some time since I last did any housework as well. The nylon sponge was completely dry. I could barely open the dish soap bottle in the kitchen, and I saw a bit of rust in the water in the sink.
Huh? What about going out with your girlfriend?
Where in the world did you get the idea that I have a girlfriend? All these are but some of the telltale scars of the fact that I've not done anything in this room for the past several days.
Didn't you say that yourself?
I never said anything like that. Don't make up such strange claims.
Then what? You don't plan on going anywhere this entire winter break, Haruki?
I've still got my part-time job. I'm quite busy.
Didn't you just say you were at home the entire time? And just 10 seconds ago at that?
For example, there's the fact that I'm not able to communicate properly, as shown for how I'm incapable of refuting even a simple argument like that.
This time, make sure you don't lose the place where you belong, Setsuna.
Did you say something?
Who knows? Then, here. No, it's here. Alright, another victory! How long does that make my winning streak now?
Damn it! And I managed to get the Joker on your side for once too. I toss the last card left in my hand, the Joker, and lament on how terrible my luck is today. The session of Old Maid after dinner had ended with a score of 16-2 in her favor, which included a 10-round losing streak for me. Objectively speaking, the distance is unequivocally one-sided.
That's because you're so easy to read, Haruki. The moment the Joker ends up in your hand, it's pretty much game over.
How can you be so good at this? You haven't marked the cards now, have you? It's true that the two same instances that I've won ended up with me not getting the Joker in my hand even once, and getting away with it to the very end.
Remember the saying, you touch your ear when you lie? Once someone figures out what your ear is, it's easy to tell.
Do I have a habit like that?
No, it's not that simple. It's more like an instinctive human reaction.
Is that so?
actions and breath, speech and expression, and so on. If you don't consider all that information, it's pretty hard to perform an overall evaluation.
You observe that thoroughly, huh?
And that's not all. I can take control of you by using that information and mislead you to think and act the way I want you to.
Wouldn't it be better if you specialized in psychology instead? Though her method of manipulation seemed heavily exaggerated at first. I can't help but believe her, given I've ended up with such a big losing streak. I'm really glad I rejected Izumi's initial suggestion of playing poker with. I don't play games that involve gambling after all this.
I'm not interested in the theory behind it. I'd rather experience it myself. You could say I'm more of a hands-on person.
Do you plan on becoming a con artist in the future?
Well, I'm already doing something like that right now.
Izumi? This classmate of mine possesses detailed observation skills and a masterful poker face. Suddenly laughs with an expression of self-derision.
Well, leaving that aside, I want to play games that are more competitive. Have you got anything else?
Aside from playing cards, maybe Uno?
This room sure lacks entertainment devices, as always. You must be my only friend who doesn't even have a game console, Haruki.
If you're not satisfied, then go to sleep. Play those competitive games all you like in your dreams.
Oh, well, I'll just change my goal to a 20-game win streak and keep on playing Old Maid.
How far do you plan on making me suffer? Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Now we're on the Setsuna route. Haruki is starting to separate himself from the other girls. Kinda sad to see them go, but at least Haruki isn't stringing them along like other people. Now, Setsuna is partially responsible for how that relationship is going too, but it is good for Mari and Chiaki to go after seeing Haruki can't commit to them.